WIDR Kalamazoo.
Hello there. Welcome back to the Western News Review, and we're excited to have you once again on this all-exciting episode where we bring you the best of stories from Western Michigan and the Kalamazoo locality from the Western Herald. Today I'm joined by, guess who?
It's me. Hi, I'm Cori.
Yeah. It's been what, a year?
It has. It's been about a semester. I think I was on at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But then I became editor-in-chief of the Herald, and
Yay.
I let the news team take over for me a little bit. But Kayla and Nicole are out today, so I'm back.
So basically, you just said I am a bigger woman now. So, this is below my pay grade. Really?
Below my pay grade. I'm just doing a favor for the girls. No, I'm so happy to be here. I've been wanting to get back into the studio, so.
Yeah, it's exciting to have you back.
Thank you.
And of course, another prodigal. You didn't hear from him last week. Eli is here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yay, Eli.
All right. Okay, so let's we'll just quickly run you through some stories. Today's promises to be a bit brief, but all the same very important things you need to take note of. Today we'll be discussing avoiding misinformation, especially in light of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. And then, of course, there is a showing of Hunger Games, which I haven't seen any. Is it a movie or a series?
It's a series.
It's a series.
It started out as a book series, and then
I haven't seen any of it yet.
This is a new movie. We haven't gotten one in quite a few years. So.
I think 10 years.
Who knows? I'll attend this showing and see if I like it in general and start watching the previous one.
You should probably watch the others first.
Well, this one is a prequel.
This is a prequel.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it's a prequel movie. So.
But it was just recently released, right?
I think it hasn't.
I don't think it comes out yet. I think
it comes out soon.
We'll see when we read the article.
So it's just like the, what you call it? It's just like a Game of Thrones where they had House of Dragon as the prequel to it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Right, we'll come to the story and give you more information about that. Also, Essential Needs gives back to WMU students. What is Essential Needs? We'll tell you more about that. And then we'll finally end on the note of WMU sports. The soccer team is taking home some awards, and then the football team, is making us proud against our rivals. So we'll tell you more about that. But let's kick the conversation off first of all by, I was going to ask how your week has been, but we'll get into that. Let's start with how to avoid misinformation. Cori will give us that story.
We had an article go up this week by Kayla Lambert, headlined "Avoiding Misinformation Amidst the Israel-Hamas Conflict." Basically, amidst any international conflict in the modern age, information is easily accessible and widespread, which unfortunately leads to an abundance of disinformation and misinformation.
And should we care about misinformation? Is it threatening? How dark can this be?
It is. There's news coming from everywhere, socials, news outlets, word of mouth, and there's these two big terms that we in the news industry like to use: misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation is like unintentionally spread, incorrect information, and disinformation is inaccurate information that's purposefully spread under the guise that it's accurate and true. A lot of people in recent years like to throw around the term fake news. That's not something we really like to use in journalism because it expresses the fact that we're doing it on purpose, which would be the term disinformation. But they're both things just to look out for.
Which one of the two is most common? Is it disinformation or misinformation?
Misinformation's more common because usually people don't know that they're spreading untrue information. It might start as disinformation of someone trying to express something that's not true on purpose, but usually when you're spreading things on social media and word of mouth, it's misinformation because most people don't know whether or not it's true.
And I'll come back to you, Cori, but let me go to Eli on the same subject on what could motivate people in wanting to spread misinformation? What could be some of the reasons why we see a lot of misinformation?
One of the reasons we can see a lot of misinformation is because of how many sources there are for information these days. You can go anywhere online and get a million different opinions and point of views and perspectives on the same piece of news, and a lot of misinformation and disinformation can be spread with bias. So there can be bias, a point of view that's trying to an audience that might be trying to be pushed onto the audience that could make something misinformation or and misinform somebody on what's actually happening. So it can be tough to avoid those kinds of things online just because there's so many things. So I think the most important thing is just to fact check and, make sure you're getting your news from an unbiased source. Do your research.
And that will bring me to the quotes. I mean, this story and who has been making these statements about misinformation. I'm talking about Sue Ellen Christian, a professor here at WMU. She did give some tips on how to avoid, or if not curb, misinformation, Cori.
Yeah, I believe we've all had Professor Christian at some point in our time here. She teaches global media literacy.
You started making, answering the question, I was going to say you sound really like her.
Do I? Well, I've taken, I think, 3 of her classes. I know that you are her TA currently in global media literacy. So you might have some points after
Eli's
in the class. And WIDR GM Cully Cooper is in the class. I took it, I think, 3 years ago. But yeah, it's a great class. It's like one of the first classes you take as a journalism student just to better understand how media literacy works. But her 3 tips to avoid spreading or falling for misinformation are, first, to read beyond the headline and get the whole picture. Usually when we write a news article, we keep in mind that people will only read the headline and the first maybe 2 paragraphs. That's the attention span that we have. So if there's anything off about that first 2 paragraphs, or the headline doesn't show the whole picture of the story, people are going to click away and think about things maybe in an incorrect manner. Her second tip is to reverse image search photographs to ensure that they're not being misused.
And not to catch you, Cori, just on the first point that you raised about, reading beyond headlines, shouldn't we put some form of responsibility on journalists who, for instance, use sensational headlines just to get people's attention, or to this and maybe misinform people? Shouldn't journalists take some of the responsibility as well?
Absolutely. We like to have like a balance between a headline that's going to grab attention, because nobody's going to read a headline if it's boring. You won't click on the article. But we also don't want to create this shock factor or scare tactic or put anything crazy in that headline, because we know that most people aren't going to read the entire article. And once you read that headline and it sticks in your brain, that's usually all you can think about the subject. And most people don't go to other stories to see what the vast variety of articles are out there on the same subject.
All right. Okay, maybe you can continue from the next point. Very good. So the point being to work a fine balance as a journalist, or as a news organization, and not putting the entire story in the headline, but also not being too overly sensational. Is that it? Okay.
Absolutely. The second point was to reverse Google image search photographs to ensure that they're not being misused. That's something super easy you can do.
Yeah,
you just reverse Google image.
I was going to ask you how, maybe let's demonstrate. Not demonstrate, we're on audio. But how do we describe, how can that be done?
You can just Google reverse search, and then you drop whatever photo you're looking at in there, and Google will tell you everywhere that photo has been used. So sometimes people will use a photo for something that doesn't actually pertain to that article, just to make it seem more interesting, or something else is going on that's not. And you can actually find out hey, that picture isn't from this event or situation. It's from something totally different. And they just use it to make it more sensational. So that's something that you can keep an eye out for if you're concerned about what a photo might be portraying in a story.
Would you say we should do this for everything we have doubts about, Eli? In terms of reverse image searching photos, for instance. I mean, do we have to necessarily do that for any photo we have doubts about?
I think it depends. I think it's important to know I think that if you're planning on spreading information on social media, it's really important to fact check that beforehand. If it's something that's not as, for example, if you've got like if you just got a picture of, I think like I think it depends on how it applies to your life and to other people's lives, how it's going to affect you. Like, for example, if you want to, if somebody sends you a picture on like an online dating profile and you want to double check to make sure it's not a photo that's being spread on the internet, that might be something that's important to do. But not every photo is, gonna affect your life or somebody else's life. So I think it just depends on, you just got to use your best judgment on when it's appropriate to make sure you're fact checking something, especially before you're spreading that information to other people.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's get back to you, Cori.
Professor Christian's third tip is, I lost it.
Oh, we'll find it. Okay. Okay, so 3 tips.
Third is to read widely and from different perspectives.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Eli to the rescue.
Read widely from different perspectives. That basically means don't take the first article that you see as the end-all be-all for that subject. There's this wonderful thing called the media bias chart, and it's basically a chart that goes from left to right, and it has like all of the major news outlets on there, and it tells you like where on the political spectrum they lie. Because like I've said before, and I'll say it again, there is no such thing as complete objectivity in reporting. It's impossible to be 100% unbiased. And news outlets know this, and they usually express themselves one way or the other. There are a couple that lie very, very close to the middle, like Routers and AP News. Those are probably the least biased out there. And then there are others that lean left or right on the political spectrum. And if you don't know which one your preferred news outlet is on, you can just Google the media bias chart and find their little logo on there, and it'll tell you exactly where on the spectrum they lie.
Yeah, and I'll go further even to say that there's a website called allsites.com. Professor Christian mentions it a lot. And it gives you, all sides to a story. What the left is saying about the story, what the right is saying about the story, at least so that you get a balanced perspective of, that particular issue or topic. So misinformation, a very important thing to look out for, especially in this information age and the social media age where almost everything is spread online and people just swallow it. They take it as facts. It's very important to adhere to these tips. Reverse image search was the other one. We just spoke about reading wide, and then there was the first one about
read behind the headline. Take the whole picture.
The whole picture, not just
we
going off on that
write
headline.
the news, we present the news, but by no means am I telling you to take everything that I've written and use that as your fact of life. I encourage people to read things from all across the board, from different outlets, whether it be at the collegiate level or the major news outlet level. Just be paying attention to what you're reading and make sure that before you tell somebody else on it, whether it be on social media or just by word of mouth, that you know what you're talking about.
Very important. And so yesterday, the global media literacy class, went out and spread some information, good information, by the way, about how to avoid misinformation. So I'm sure some of you may have come across them. I know Cori said she did, right?
I did. Cully came into the Western Herald office yesterday and gave me a fortune cookie that said something along the lines of different people view the same message differently, talking about how like individuals will see the
perspectives,
same message but have different perspectives on it.
Yeah, and that fits into the idea of biases and all that too. So, very important discussion. I really love a conversation about avoiding misinformation and whatnot for someone who, I'm a media enthusiast. So, thank you, Cori and then Eli, for that discussion. Let's move on to another discussion, which is a bit on a lighter note. There's a movie showing coming up. Again, Cori will give us that.
Yeah, our headline is Cab to Hold showing of the Hunger Games prequel. That's a new movie coming out. The Hunger Games series, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And I think Cab is just taking a bunch of students to go on maybe opening night.
Yeah, so that's on 17th, right? November 17th.
Yeah, November 17th.
I'm not sure if that's opening night, but it is pretty early on. I don't know that it's out yet, but should be interesting.
Okay, Hunger Games. Is it like an action movie?
You could say that. Yeah, it's I think it's rated as like a action adventure kind of movie.
Is it worth it for me who hasn't seen it?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of, also the release date is November 13th, by the way. But I'm a huge fan of the Hunger Games. I'm really excited to go see it. The book is great. The book is already out. The movie is based off of the prequel book that came out, I believe, last year, 2 years ago.
I think so, yeah. I read all the books in high school, middle school, and then recently rewatched the first couple movies.
Yeah, they're great movies.
They hold up.
Yeah.
They're a couple years old, but they hold up.
Yeah, I mean, compared to, some of the other book to movie adaptations that are out there, they really kind of nailed that one down.
Accurate.
Yeah.
It is young adult, so if that's not your thing, maybe you won't like it. But they're fun, they're entertaining.
They're nostalgic,
They're nostalgic, yeah. So I think there's quite a bit of people in our age group are going to be excited to go. So it's cool that Cab's taking a bunch of people to go together.
I'm so. But
you should go.
Talking about Cab, why should students go, by the way? I know they said something along the lines of Cabs being funded by student assessment fee. So should I participate?
Yeah, the student assessment fee funds a couple organizations on campus, the student media group included, so the Herald and WIDR, and then CAB's Campus Activities Board, and the Western Student Association and Sports Club Council also fall under the SAF-funded agencies, and basically our jobs as SAF agencies are to provide things for students at the university that they wouldn't get from university administration otherwise. So what CAB does is fun events. They usually put on the big concert of the semester. They do the tailgating. And they do little things like this, like movie night, where you can just go maybe with a friend. You might be able to meet some new people while you're there. And it's just an opportunity to go do something fun that's not super academic related.
Yeah, and it can get really depressing sometimes on campus, with all the academic activities going on. So sometimes you need to loosen up.
Depressing academia, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it feels like. You're in your accelerated master, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you feel that depressive academia yet?
Yeah.
Do you love it?
It's getting darker out. The time change is really messing with me. The master's program is really messing with me. I've got 1 foot in my undergrad still and 1 foot in the master's program. I'm taking more credits than I ever have before. And I'm the editor-in-chief at the Herald, so I am really feeling the burnout, but I love every second of it. So it's a give and take. I like what I'm doing, but boy, am I tired.
All right. I mean, yeah. So you need some of these activities to, loosen up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see the Clue play this weekend.
Wow.
So.
Oh, I heard that's good.
Is it the theater? Wait. Who's doing it?
Yeah, the WMU theater.
I used to see a lot of their plays last semester and then the one before that in the fall, but I haven't really gone to that. What's this play about? Maybe I might go. The what? The cool play?
Clue?
It's like a murder mystery kind of thing. It's like a parody of a murder mystery, I'd say, because it kind of uses the most cliche tropes you can get in kind of a murder mystery to where, there's all these different people. It's based on the board game Clue. I don't know if you've ever played that when you were
I
a kid.
only just recently learned how to play Uno.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And I'm not even sure I'm good at it yet. Yeah, I'm
you
still
don't have to
learning.
be good at it.
I don't know how
It's
to
just
play
fun for
Monopoly,
fun's sake.
all these games.
Yeah, but it's
that-
based off of the board game Clue that a lot of people
Yeah,
played when
I
they
don't
were
know
a
too much
kid.
about the play, but it should be
It's
fun.
good. My high school put it on a couple of years ago, and I'm excited to see it at a more professional level, a college level.
All right, I might see it. That's tomorrow, today.
We're recording on Friday,
I think
so it will probably be over by the time that this goes out.
Well, no, I think they do 2
But-
weekends of every
well,
show.
if they do 2 weekends, then I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. I might see it.
Yeah.
You should.
All right. But on the note of the Hunger Games, if you want to get involved, you can RSVP at Experience WMU by November 14th. And more information on the event can be found on their website, which is linked in the Western Herald article. So do want to look out for that. Eli will give us a story about essential needs. I used to know them as invincible needs, but we know they're giving back to WMU students. What does this project entail, Eli?
Yeah, so an article went up by one of our staff reporters, Sarah Shanley, about a week ago, and it is titled Essential Needs Gives Back to WMU Students, because we wanted to highlight some of the things that Essential Needs, formerly Invisible Needs, does on campus for students coming from low-income households who may be dealing with some financial insecurities or struggling to find those essential needs. I actually spoke to a staff member from Essential Needs a couple of weeks ago at an event for the sustainability office, and we talked a little bit about why they chose to switch the name over from Invisible Needs, and she said that she didn't want people to feel like essential needs needed to be invisible, essentially, because Essential Needs provides a lot of different resources to students, including period products, food, tuition money, textbook costs, and they didn't want students to feel like they needed to kind of hide the fact that those things are essential, or to feel like they aren't as important because they're struggling to meet those things financially. So they switched over the need to essentially make it less invisible, financial insecurity less invisible for students, because so many people struggle with it, and they didn't want people to feel like they were alone in those struggles. So it's just kind of trying to reduce that sense of isolation and insecurity toward food and finances.
That's good thinking, behind changing the name, because myself, I was always wondering what's the thinking behind Invincible Needs was, but I'm glad that they thought it was something that needed to be changed, and the reason for doing that, I think, are apt. But how can students benefit from this? What can you get from this project?
So students can go to the Essential Needs Pantry, the food pantry, which is located in the back entrance of Fonts Student Services.
Shout out to Fonts.
Yeah.
Yay.
We're finally out of there.
I miss it though.
But that doesn't mean there's not, important stuff going on over there still. The food pantry is located over there for Essential Needs students. Are able to shop at the food pantry every 2 weeks after they sign up for Essential Needs. Any student who is a current student at WMU can shop at the food pantry every 2 weeks and fill up 2 reusable shopping bags with non-perishable items, frozen foods, things that are available to them for free with their enrollment as a student here at WMU. And they also offer things like period products. They help cover the costs of textbooks for classes. Wow. So just some things that students, can't get by without in college.
And that's really important. And I'm sure I wouldn't say a lot of people, because I don't know how many people go there, but some people may not know this, and so I'm glad we're talking about this. But if someone is listening and they don't know how to sign up, how do they do that?
Yeah, so I believe that There's a webpage with essential needs on WMU website that has all the information you need for signing up. You can just head over to their webpage. You can also just go to the food pantry in person, and you can talk to the staff that is there during weekdays. I believe, I don't know the hours off the top of my head for the food pantry, but I know they're open on weekdays, and all the information should be on the Essential Needs webpage, which
There's a
is
link to that webpage in the article if you want to give the Western Herald website a little visit.
Yeah.
They're also looking for volunteers, so yeah.
Okay. Oh, sounds great. So check out the link and volunteer. But this is an opportunity for students who are struggling. And from an international student perspective, I know a lot of international students struggle with some of the items that you mentioned, coming by some of these things. So this will be a great opportunity to cushion yourself with the services available through the Essential Needs Project. Thank you, Eli, for that. Let's end on the note of sports. And this is some good news. For some time now, I haven't really seen good news when it comes to WMU football and sports. But for the last couple of weeks, though, we think we've been on a streak of winning. And is it Eli will give us a story on the sports happening. Let's start first of all with WMU football. I know there's some awards that some members of the team received, and not football, I beg your pardon, soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah, and then from that we come to our game with the CMU, which Cori seems to be so happy about. I don't know why, but she'll tell us. Eli, take us away.
Yeah, so I personally can't tell you much about WMU soccer because I'm in the student media world, but I know that they've been taking home some awards recently, making us proud, highlighting Broncos at the MVC annual banquet. We put a story out about it on November 8th, and it is titled WMU Men's Soccer Takes Home an Array of MVC Awards, and you can definitely read more about it if you're interested.
Yeah, so if you're interested, just go to the Western Herald. I'm not into sports side, unfortunately, but I know a bit about soccer, but I'm not about American football. I've seen a couple of games and I still don't know what's going on. At the end of the day, I just ask who won, and they tell me, "Oh, we won," and I jubilate. I don't know how they won, what accounts for winning, and whatnot. Now,
you get to ask.
Yeah.
WMU played CMU this week. Ask who won.
Who won?
We did.
Yay.
Yeah. We won our big rivalry game of the year.
By how many points?
38-28.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 points.
Yeah.
Huh?
So the CMU rivalry game, they were competing for our annual Cannon Trophy and the MIC Award, which EMU also competes for every year, Eastern Michigan University. And WMU and CMU have over a century-long rival. They started competing in 1917. Their first game was in 1917, and they have been competing against each other for, I believe, 53 consecutive years off the top of my head. And so it's been a while. And and out of those, that century-long rival, WMU has won the most games.
I was going to ask who usually wins.
Yeah, WMU has won the most games, and we have taken home the trophies for the last couple of years. We're very proud of our football team, and we're happy to have the Cannon trophy home where it belongs.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Yay.
Yeah.
I feel like the new coach is really doing well and should be commended on that. I remember when he came in just last semester in the fall. There was this nice video,
Yes, Coach Lance Taylor's first victory Cannon game. So huge win for him. Big shout out to our sports team, Eddie and Jack, for cranking out these articles like immediately after every game. They're on top of them, and I believe we're usually some of the first to publish Western related sports. So
yay.
Great for them. We are trying to start a sports podcast over there. So if you guys are sports fans and you would like to hear more about what's going on over in that area from not us, because we don't know a whole lot about what's going on, please encourage them to get the ball rolling on that sports podcast. I've been waiting patiently, but maybe they need a little push from the audience.
Go put some pressure on them. We encourage it.
Yeah. It might be the opportunity for me to learn more about sports, listening to them and all that. So I guess I will be putting pressure on them too.
Please do.
You can pop in at the Western Herald meeting.
Yeah. Get that podcast started. Okay, so kudos to you, the sports team at Western Herald, for doing an amazing job with the sport reporting that we get from the website. So today we've looked at WMU sports, ending on the good note of winning awards and then winning against our rivals. That's a huge one. Sorry I missed that game, but next time I'll look out for that. I'll watch YouTube videos to understand American football better. Then that way, when I go in, I can really enjoy the games. But we spoke about that. We also spoke about essential needs and what they're doing for students. We also spoke about Hunger Games, a showing that is on November the 17th. If you want to get involved, sign up by 14th of November. There's a link on the Western Herald website. And then we started on misinformation, especially amid, a lot of conflicts going on in the world. You have Ukraine, Russia, you have Israel, Hamas, and not just them, but, if misinformation is general, it could be about conspiracy theories about, unidentified flying objects. How do you call them?
UFOs.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm writing
Tune in next week.
I'm writing my research paper on those, so tune in next week.
Exciting.
That's cool.
For UFOs.
Yeah. Do you think they exist?
What?
Do you think they are real?
I'm actually writing I'm a film major, and so I'm writing my research report on how film and television exposure to paranormal phenomena increases or decreases people's belief in the paranormal. So tune in next week. I personally am
sophisticated topic.
As objective reporters,
we
have no opinions on whether or not UFOs or aliens exist.
I forgot I was a reporter for a second.
If you know Eli, go find him on campus and you can
that is researcher Eli talking.
Yeah,
you
can go come
not
find
journalist
me on
Eli talking.
Come find me on campus when I'm not being reported.
I also have opinions if you want to talk to me.
I'll give you all the hot gossip.
All right. It's always fun, guys, to have you on this show, Western News Review. And today you heard the voice of someone you haven't heard from in a while, Cori. Hopefully we hear from you more often.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
That I have time.
That's not encouraging, but okay.
Okay.
Fingers crossed that one of the regulars, me or Kayla or Nicole, have to step out.
Yeah, really?
I included myself in there.
Okay.
All jokes.
Yeah.
All jokes. We love you, Kayla.
Yeah,
we love you, Nicole.
Oh yeah, shout out to Cori. Not Cori. Shout out to
Cori.
Cori's here. Shout out to Nicole. I was gonna say
Forget
Nicole.
her.
Nicole and Kayla. Last week we were on here. Amazing discussions that we had, and today we've had really great interactions as well. Thank you so much, Eli, and then Cori. For today, my name is Daniel Ebo. This has been the Western News Review. Always stay tuned. Listen to this for news from the Western Herald. What you may have missed, especially within our jurisdiction. We'll come your way same time next week, but for now, stay safe. Bye bye.